So I'm here with Hume,
That's right. Thank you.
the director of Corey Feldman vs. the World. Now, this is, I think, the most slept on movie of 2025. No one
That's
is putting
so great and
no,
sad at the same time.
well, no one's putting it on their top 10 list. We need to get the word out. We need people to watch this movie. I watched it on Apple TV. I ordered it. I own it, quote unquote. I can watch it whenever I feel like. And I've watched it a few times. It's just unreal watching this movie. You can't believe this really exists. You can't, like, every shot, every line, every cut.
That's how we feel also. But truly, as the filmmakers, like we all feel that way. Like Adam, Star, Jim, and I, we all feel the exact same way. We watch it in awe every time we went through footage, every time we were looking at it, we were in deep awe. So I think that's why your reaction just mimics ours. So yes, please.
I've worked in reality TV a little bit. I've done some casting editing.
Oh dear.
Okay, so casting editing is a process where you try to find people. Like, I was working on Kitchen Nightmares. We're trying to find restaurants to whittle down to 5 minutes, create a story that then Gordon Ramsay would then pick, and the producers, like, the best restaurants, right? And when you work in that world, the people who make reality TV shows, they're always looking for new subjects, new stories, new characters, new people. And I feel like this movie, it's not reality TV, but but documentary documentary filmmakers do the same thing. They have to independently look for things to make
Yeah.
stories about.
I'm so obsessed with these lines because I feel like as somebody who works across all these genres, I feel like we have no language to talk about and differentiate these things because there are many things that are similar across the storytelling in all of these genres and then many things that are different. And I think the differentiators are really in the way that you do these things and the way that you tell the stories. But we the things that are the same is that or that are similar in these genres are that you look for you have to look for compelling narratives and compelling subjects, and all those things are sort of the same across them. It's just that in what we call reality, they have compressed timelines and compressed story expectations and different ways of producing it, and different expectations, right? But we don't
Yeah.
have really names for it. We use the word reality now to sort of cover a huge amount of territory, even when it's not deserved. I mean, I know really great docuseries that people will call reality to its detriment, even when they're great. Really, what they would be called documentaries, but they're in a kind of reality bucket. So anyway, there's so much out there now, and we kind of don't differentiate at all.
But ultimately, I feel like it does come down to character, like person,
Mm.
like Corey in this movie. Every time he says something, it's a Corey thing he's saying, and every time Courtney says something, it's a Courtney thing, and when Darcy says something, it's a Darcy thing. Like, they're always, it's like
Brand.
they're always on brand, and it's like, like a sitcom. It's like, oh, Ross does this, and
Yeah,
Matthew Perry or whatever, like, does that. Chandler always has a Chandler thing, right? Like,
right.
they're always themselves. And the thing that's really crazy to me about Corey Feldman is that he's been on a reality TV show. He knows how movies are made. He understands everything, and he seems to have absolutely no filter
Hmm.
on doing anything in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
he's just being himself, like, almost, I mean, I like, almost too real, like, I don't, but
Yeah.
here's the other thing. I feel like if you're shooting long enough, it the you forget, right? Like, maybe you just start being yourself more and more, and you just don't have a filter.
I think there's a lot here because I think I mean, we could talk about each person's personality and what I think is going on there. And we could talk about the whole idea of, um, forgetting about the camera, right? Which I think is sort of its own topic. Um, And then I think, but I also think that people being themselves to me is the most interesting thing. I mean, I've been going back through the footage, looking for things and looking for other sort of, outtakes and whatever. And you're right, like everybody they are themselves. Like they are constantly, they're constantly doing their thing. It just doesn't stop, they are really that. So I want to say that it's partly the glory of editing to let people's character evolve in a way that you can really resonate with them. But I think you're right. I think that, I think it's both. I think it's
It's
a
a great
feat of
well,
editing and it's the truth of how people are.
yes, it's ultimately a great film. Okay, just to say it, like it's a brilliantly edited movie, and also you have amazing characters, right? So when did this get started because of his Today Show performance? Because that seems to be in the story, like the genesis, like that's sort of the
Well, we had to go back really until the Today Show. So you see, I mean, the only kind of uh, alert to that in the movie is that we put the date up on the screen. So you
yeah,
sort of can put it together that we're going back because it would have been, I think, too distracting otherwise to,
it's part of the setup
yeah, exactly. Because it has to be part of the story.
because that gets
Um,
his band on tour, and
right,
that's
exactly.
it's mostly as a story of a band on tour.
It is. Yeah. And we just had to, um, we really wanted to set up the story from the point of view of it really honestly was my experience. I mean, that's what, I mean, this was really Adam's sort of thought in the beginning. Adam Franklin, the editor, was
Yeah,
like, we really need to just track how this went down, which was it's like my naivete in the beginning filming and just being like, we are with this, we are on tour, we're with Corey, and it's kind of almost from Corey's POV in the beginning. It's sort of this like optimistic, here we are going on this adventure. And you really get that you feel that and that's where I was just in this whirlwind of that optimism. And I think it really is kind of almost from his POV in the beginning.
yeah,
So it's just setting up, but it also that also lets you, I think, feel the absurdity of it, which is the word that I just come back to and can't stay away from with all of this, because I think it encompasses that word for me encompasses everything. It's like our human struggle to do things and accomplish things, which is also kind of making this film. But it's the humor and the tragedy and the beauty of everything they're doing in this movie, both him and the women. They're trying to really do impossible things to a point that is incredible and hilarious at all times.
yes. Um, and you get this sense of him being like hurt by the response to the Today Show, the comments, the jokes, the negativity, but then there's also this like positivity. There's this love of like, come on, let's go on tour. Let's he said like merch people were talking to him, like people wanted him to go on tour, and he's been doing this band thing for a long time. Like this was like a joke on Mr. Show like 20 years ago. Like David
Mhm.
Cross used to talk about this a lot. Like, oh, in LA, you can see Corey Feldman perform with his band, and he does the Michael Jackson moves, right? Like he's been on Howard Stern way in the early 90s. He's been doing this. I was thinking about this today. This is more of his career than acting is. Acting really was, because he never, like, when you think about it, he was a little kid in Gremlins and Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Is that really his desire, or is that his parents making him, right? Like this
Oh, yeah. I think that
tour,
was, yes.
this tour is his thing. This is all his thing.
Oh, totally. I think that's what we tried to put across in, I really don't like using interview much, but we use interview in the background to kind of put across that idea because it felt really necessary there to have him explain that aspect of, the films of his childhood and being part of these iconic films were just not his, and this was his project. And he just kind of says that outright in the movie, which felt really necessary because that is the case. This was his thing that he is owning. And I think that is beyond crucial because it's hard to articulate how big of a deal that is, right? Because he's known for this. kind of childhood of, being sent out to into this industry, right, by his parents. And I think no matter what version of that story you hear, you can sort of understand that that's some whatever version of that is the case, right? Like you're a child actor, you're put in that scenario. And, talking with him and Eden about it, it's yeah, I mean, it's a bizarre reality to live in. And I think that's what I mean, in the beginning, that really is something that always drew me to that world is like what a bizarre life to
Yeah.
live in that industry from the jump. What an unreal thing.
Plus, he's not really pursuing it now. Like he could be in things every now and then. Like he could, if he wanted to, he could be going to, I don't know,
Dude, if I had
he
my way, I'd be like, sir, here's, I think we all have our criticisms. I'd be like,
I'm not
engage with your
criticizing.
haters. Oh, well,
Uh,
okay, I am.
I'm just saying like you could I'm
No,
just
I
saying if
hear
he
you.
wanted to, he could be like, I'm auditioning for this movie and I'm excited. But no, he's doing
Right.
the band. He's a
Yes, I hear
musician,
you.
and yeah, he's so when was the last time you talked to Corey?
The last time I talked to Corey was, well, talked to him in person was when I screened the movie for him.
Oh, you
Thanks for
did.
asking. Yeah,
I was
screened the
curious
movie
about
for
that if
him.
he's seen the movie.
Yes, he has seen the movie, and you
He did.
know, he did. He
He
did
had
see the movie.
issues, he had notes, he had
Well, we didn't get much of a chance to talk about it, unfortunately. Which I've talked about this a bit.
I haven't heard this. I've watched a few interviews with you, but I haven't heard this. What
I
happened?
know that's okay. There's
He
no
just
no need
left.
to go deep on it. Yes, he'd watched almost all of the movie, and but not all of it. And I always want to be very respectful how I talk about this because I want it to, I always want to give this gentleman his privacy because I feel like
Sure,
it's only
sure.
fair. But no, I look, I kind of wrote about this in a in a press friendly way, but really it is sort of insane that I didn't assume that he would not like the movie. Like to me, it's so much of it is from his point of view. And, obviously it goes on to include other views, but like it's sort of insane that I didn't think, of course, he's going
Yeah.
to treat
I
this like he
assumed.
treats everything.
Yeah, you see it in the movie. Women joined the band very quickly, and people can get cut off very quickly too. Like he'll cut someone off in the movie for visiting, for flying home, going to see their mother, right? Like that's a scene that
Right.
happens. A woman
Yeah, Brittany's
takes
great.
time off and then she's fired from the band. Like he seems to like, so I was wondering too, like how, like I'm surprised you weren't cut off in the middle of shooting, honestly,
Really? Tell me
because
why.
he just seems to cut people. He can turn on
Yes, he
people, or
does.
like I think he could have realized very easily, like, oh wait, like what happened? Like
Yeah, maybe
maybe
she's
this
not.
isn't maybe this isn't a good idea, or like maybe I should
Yeah.
just stop this. Like maybe I
Well, I
should.
mean, he did at a certain point in the sense that when he started making his own movie and he,
Right.
I don't want to, I don't want to project too much what happened in his mind, but at a certain point that happened, when he was further into making his movie than what we show, he was kind of done with it. Star, my, one of my partners on this movie was filming at the premiere, and Corey was clearly not excited about it. He
Yeah,
was.
this is a common thing. Like even in that recent Pee Wee Herman documentary, you see
Yes.
they talk very openly. Like he no longer wanted to participate. He kind of reached his point where he said, like, he's not showing up, he's not talking, he just doesn't want
Right.
to do it anymore. And it's these
Right.
are celebrities. They've have issues with the press. I mean, like both of them have like scandals with the press, and he calls the press like demons in this movie. Corey,
Right.
he calls them demons.
Yes.
Like he's
Yeah, the dark
very,
dark media,
yeah, like he's very
which you might be part of now, William. Now that you're talking to me, I
I'm
don't know. I
sure
mean, that's we wonder if he hasn't said anything well, I don't know. I guess I haven't caught up. I haven't caught up with exactly what he said, but we might be
the
the dark
last
media
thing
now.
I saw was that he said you he didn't give permission for this to be made.
Yes.
That was the last thing I saw. And then you
Yes.
released a clip of like we were making a documentary together. Like
Right.
you and Corey are in the movie. Like we're shooting a documentary. It's fun.
Yes, and
We're on
there's so
tour.
much of that. I mean, it's there's an extraordinary amount of those moments. I It was so funny because I mean
You're
that
in the room with him all the time.
all the
Like
time. And that was
all the
not the
time.
only time he grabbed the camera. I used to love it when he would grab the camera because it was just kind of a great little moment. I actually imagined some of those moments going into the movie, but they kind of just didn't work or make sense. And I'm always very wary of filmmakers, like crowbarring themselves into movies too much. So it was kind of nauseating to do that. But um, that moment when this was happening, that moment kind of came to mind because it was such a clear moment. And then when we watched it, I was like, you guys, I think there's this moment where it was one of the moments I have in my memory of him taking the camera. And then we watched it and it was just so, I mean, it was unbelievable how clear it was that he was stating, how it was going, which again, like all the time, we would talk and joke about things. Like if you go through the footage, you would see over and over us talking about me making a documentary. But that was just, happened to be exceptionally clear. And so even though, it's extremely awkward feeling to put out a clip like that where I'm standing super close to him and I'm like leering over his shoulder, but it felt pretty necessary.
And you're just recording things he's saying. And I think that's the thing that's most upsetting to him, like everyone I don't know. He's one of those person. I feel like after watching this movie, I know too much about him, but not enough. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, me too.
it's this thing of like, do I want to know more? Like, is there more? I kind of feel like I know it, but I
Well,
know enough. I
to
know,
your point, oh, sorry. Yeah,
you know, what I mean?
don't mean to interrupt you. I'm just,
Like I don't understand everything. I don't think because he's, everybody's a little delusional about themselves. Everybody, right?
yes, agreed.
So you do things, you say things, and they're not always in sync. Sure, but he says things that are so revealing in this movie that are so interesting. He's Is it Darcy or Courtney's father who visits?
Courtney's father.
Courtney's father visits on the tour, his wife's father. And then he starts talking about his relationship with his father and his mother. And he talks about how his father said, like, he wanted to cut his father off from being his manager. And his father said, if I can't be your manager, I can't be your father. He says that.
Yes.
And then you watch him cut bandmates out of his life when he's like, if you can't be in the band, you can't be my friend. He doesn't say that, but there is this like similarity. There is this repetition of this kind of pattern, and you go like, oh, of course, like this is
Mhm.
now
Yeah,
it could be the editing, of course. It could be the editing. I don't know, but it's
I don't
there
know
in
if
the
that could be the editing. I mean, there are things that people say
I'm just giving it
that,
out, like
well,
I don't
well,
know
that,
the answer, Corey, but there
yeah.
is a
Oh, I hear
thing.
you. No,
There is a
I appreciate
thing.
you trying to be very fair, but I don't think there are certain things we can't blame on editing. I'm always wary of that in the same way that, you know, uh, if he's talking about editing being blamed for, like his words about Haim, and he's saying that's editing. It's like, well, that's kind of a dangerous thing to say because, of
True,
course,
true,
you
true.
can edit things, but there are also statements people make that are simply things people
Yes,
say.
yes,
So
yes.
there are differences there. But
It's
I think
pretty
what you're saying, if I may, is to me the fact that behavior is different than the words people say, right? And so you see, that's what I love also about filming people's behavior over time, as opposed to, interview led things or just having people talk about things, is that you see their behavior in different contexts and you see how that rubs up against their words or other people's words or other people's behavior. And that's what is so illuminating and so intriguing, and and that's why you get so many more layers with action over words, and those things don't always go together.
And that's honestly my favorite thing about the movie. My favorite thing about this documentary is that it doesn't feel like every other documentary I watch now, which has like drone shots, has people sitting down in well lit rooms, talking to the camera, and they have, psychologists come in, they start explaining things, or I don't know, they'll have like voicemail playing, and then they'll have like a tape rolling, and then there's like text on screen, and it's like
Isn't
these
it incredible?
shows do really well. I'm sure
Yes,
you might have worked on some, right? Like multi-part
indeed.
docu series, but it's become kind of a formula. This feels like an early 2000s like BBC kind of thing you would just see online and you wouldn't know really where it came from. It feels like it's verite, but it's so refreshing because it's just alive every scene. And like people are you record all the little one-off interviews, someone's in this corner of a room,
Yeah.
and it makes everything feel more real,
I want,
and it's just
well,
refreshing. I hope more people start making movies like this.
thank you. I love hearing you talk about it because to me, I mean, this is just the kind of movie that I love and I value it so much. And I hear you. There's so many docuseries and feature docs and everything out now that are
Long. They're just like long
it's
and
funny
drawn
hearing you
out.
say the tape playing visual. It's so funny, and the sit down into interview shot. That's sort of a trope right now. I think where you see that's sort of as meta as it gets, or as observational as it gets, where you see the person sit down and see the clapboard. I
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, the
I wonder
clapboard.
if. I mean, I just crave this sort of film, and so to me, it's so. It's almost the only sort of film that fall deeply in love with. Like all my favorite films are that
Like
sort of
what?
genre. Well, I mean, your tweet that I love so much that I'm going to frame, and we're all our little tiny film team is going to put on the wall, mentioned Crumb, which I do think is an extraordinary film. And I always
I said it
loved.
was the best documentary since Crumb,
I mean,
which is
that is grand, and so of course, we all.
it might be the best movie since Citizen Kane. I mean, it's really just I mean, it
Oh,
is
William.
loaded to the details. With I
I
mean,
We
I
really spent a long time just making sure there was not 1 second that was not. I mean, I guess that's what
no, there
everybody does
isn't.
in their
There's a
films, but
shot of like a dog's eyes looking like around. And that's just there's all every cut in. I feel like people who really like who work in reality TV or documentary or whoever, like filmmakers, I think should really watch this movie.
mm,
And really look at the editing and to really see what you're doing with like all the little cutaways, all the little jokes, all the YouTube page for announcing Corey's tour, and then it just cuts to him going, "Let's rock and roll," and he like shoots a shotgun in a Lost Boys. Is that Lost Boys 2 or 3 or something? I don't know what.
oh yeah.
It's just a barrage of. It's a waterfall of
Mm,
insanity from beginning to
mhm.
end.
Indeed, it is jam packed, and I appreciate your attention to detail very much,
Because
and
I didn't think it was going to be this good. I listened to The Bonfire and I heard Bobby Kelly go, "This is the best movie ever made." And I go like, "Yeah, right, but I have to see it to know." And then I was just with even with that expectation, it still delivered.
I'm so grateful. I should have brought Adam and Star on here with you, but and you, I don't know, Adam's. We found so many, like such a visual. I don't want to even say. I don't even know how to describe it, but I love it that you're picking these moments. And look, there's an element where this world itself just gave and gave to us.
Yes, yes, yes.
There was so much going on, and
There's a
such a
in
world of visuals.
the opening
Yeah.
scene is a wedding in Las Vegas between Corey and Courtney.
Yes, please.
Okay. And like, there's when they're doing their vows, and Corey's vows are insane. I'm sorry, no offense, Corey. They're kind of nuts to be saying this. Like he does it. I can't, if I can trust you, I have it. I can't trust anyone anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's really on the nose. And then there's like a cut to one of the bridesmaids wiping tears from her eyes. I don't know if it's during his speech, but
Hmm.
it's so funny and good and real though, because it's emotional. It's like, it's not just, you're not making fun of these people. You're trying, these are real people,
Yeah.
and they're Hollywood people. They're LA people in a way. I live in LA, so I see these people around. You meet them at parties, you know these people.
It's so funny when people say Hollywood people. I'm always like, what exactly does it mean? But I guess
People
you're
who come
right.
to
It's like,
LA, people who
yes,
they're
yes,
all we all move
you're right. You're
here
right.
to do something, you
But
know.
do you feel like a Hollywood person?
Well, I'm behind the camera. It's
I
a
guess
different
I think of
type. It's a
Hollywood
different type,
people.
but I know this, like, it's a different Hollywood, but they're in the city. Like people who go out to Hollywood and actually go to like shows. I don't know, like rock shows. I
I
don't
guess
know.
I
I
think of the world of
Corey
Hollywood.
is a Hollywood performer. It feels like he feels like
Well,
he should be
certainly. I mean,
the
look,
Sunset Strip, right? And that's hit. Like he's,
oh yeah.
and then all the people around him kind of like, I don't know. They're kind of like on the
Hollywood
peripheral.
is fantasy. I mean, I hear you. People move to Los Angeles and there are people working in an industry and then, or industries. And then there are people who want to be performers of various types. I mean, these are all true realities. But I think when people talk about
I
Hollywood
mean,
people, I think it's sort of a fantasy that people buy
sure.
into in
I'm talking
different
about people
ways.
who live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They look like people who
If you
live
live
in
in the
Hollywood.
neighborhood of Hollywood,
Yeah.
then you're really in
If
for
you
it.
if you come to Hollywood and rent an apartment in one of those giant buildings with like hundreds of apartments, you'll meet like people who want to be rock stars, or people who play music, people who want to act, people who want to do makeup, people who want to do
For
costume,
sure.
and
Do
they
those
look like they live in the city of Hollywood.
Yes. Okay. I just wonder if
That's all I
those
meant.
people think they're Hollywood. I've just heard this come up a few times around this, and it's fascinating to me because I do think that Hollywood is sort of a shared idea or a shared delusion, or kind of, it has to be, it's like an invented idea that has to be, it's like a pockets of reality that get made up as you go along. I'm
Sure,
not saying, I
sure.
mean, it's obviously,
It's always been a fantasy
yes, it
because
has.
they don't make movies in Hollywood. They it was a it's just a sign
Right. Yeah.
to
And
sell real
especially now
estate.
they make movies in
But
Canada and Atlanta. So,
sure. And Corey's house and the rooms and the
I feel like I'm not on a recorded thing. You and I could just go through the movie scene by scene and really
but
enjoy. I
it's
mean, this is
he
what,
has a house. I don't know if it's in Hollywood. It could be in the valley, but it seems to be kind of tucked against a hill or something. Like it's like the idea of a guy.
yes, that how, again, I was actually going through my footage from that first day when I'm sort of introducing the women in the band. That shoot day was amazing because I was waiting outside that big gate to be let in, and I
Corey's
was,
Gate.
yeah, the Feld mansion, and I was out there for a little while before I got got let in. So I have some amazing shots of, like the keypad and the flag and I mean, it's just everything in that world is visually rich, shall we say, and sort of, adds to there was so much that it was so difficult to pare down. And that's why, I think all of those little cuts that you notice, I mean, there were many, many options for each of those because there was just always so much going on. Everybody that enters that world, and maybe this speaks to the vision of Hollywood, it's people that were wanting to do something, that have some sort of dream, and a lot of those people themselves have a visual style. I mean, like I adore Brittany, who, I mean, I adore everybody in this movie, but Brittany, who I, have gotten to reconnect with for, the premiere. And although she was very, she was really fraught because she was trying to maintain, friendship with Corey, who did not support the movie, and, be part of this film, and was really struggling in doing both. But, she's still pursuing music and is an awesome guitar player and just has such a like visual amazingness to her with her long hair and her awesome style and all of this, so like even just watching her during rehearsal and during that footage, it's like you could go off and make a film about her and see Hollywood through her experience, like somebody could make that movie, and that would be
Yes.
wild.
Yes. I mean, and then the tour, Maloney's Pub. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
just even
God.
a shot of the pub with the four-leaf clover is funny in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the
Wendy,
fans,
so good.
the guy crying, he's so
Oh,
happy.
so good. I couldn't wait for Wendy, the pub owner, to see that. I didn't want to, we were sort of like finishing this up, like not letting the cat out of the bag, just because, we just thought, okay, we're going to get this thing finished finally and out there and not let it spread. We thought if we tell one person, it's just going to spread like wildfire. So we thought, okay, we're going to actually get this thing done and get it out there. But Wendy was like the person I wanted to tell the most because she is iconic. She is like the every woman Americana. She's so relatable and people love her so much. I think she's sort of like the secret star of the movie, you know? Don't you think?
Definitely, she's very memorable. I mean, she's so
Yes.
happy, and she's like you. And when you see people like that, you understand Corey in a much better way of why he's doing this. Because people do
Yes.
love him and appreciate him, and people are really happy to see him perform, and people are
Yes.
like are going gaga over him and for his show and his band and everything. And it's like I don't like
Mhm.
people are
It's
responding positively to what he's doing all the
it's the
time.
most pure scene, I think, of the movie because it's the purity of what celebrity can be, that they represent something beautiful to people, and you have that journalist with the beard who I did a whole interview with him standing in this weird vestibule outside the venue that there wasn't room for. And maybe I'll go back and do something with that. But he was so articulate in putting forward what that relationship is, that classic parasocial relationship with a celebrity, and feeling like that person's face and that person's being sort of represents so much about your childhood or your emotional life, whatever that is. And I love that scene so much. That scene was all Adam Franklin. And it's just so moving. And I think we really needed that scene as a counterbalance, to everything that was to come and all the complexity and all the shouting and screaming and, all of uh the intensity of the road. It's just that purity of what people
Now,
feel.
were you on the bus with them? Are you in your own
Oh, I was
vehicle?
on the bus. Oh, sir, I was on the bus. Yes, I had my own I mean, when I was on the bus, I wasn't there the whole
Now,
time,
when you
but
slept with Corey and Courtney and Darcy, did you get this? Did you just have to sit in the corner, or were you in the bed? No.
hilarious. Very funny. I had
Were
my
you under the
own
spell of Corey,
beautiful. I know. I think
the
having to put
Stockholm
out that
syndrome?
clip. I know it's having to put out that clip where here's the thing, William. I hated putting out that clip because whenever he would grab the camera, I didn't trust him to film. And because that lens only goes back to 35 millimeters, I would stand or sit really close to him to make sure that he would get us in frame. And I find it so awkward to watch because I just look like I'm trying to be really close to him. And I find it frankly nauseating. But I think it just looks like I'm a little sycophantic, and I obviously hate it because, I found him from what I mean, the moment I decided to reach out to him to film with him was watching the Ascension Millennium video, which was obviously not, I had a mixed reaction to it, but it was the reaction you have when you watch an incredible doc. It was like an American movie kind of moment where you're just in awe of what's going on in a very deep way.
Hmm.
So so that was always my sort of approach, but also I've always been fascinated by fame and what it does to people, and I do think that he is, I don't want to say like a poster child, because that sort of doesn't lend it the complexity that it deserves. But I think he's a unique case, because there are many child actors that don't have as much going on as he has going on, right? But I think
No,
he's out there on his own level of experience of fame and what it might have done to him. And I don't think I succeeded in understanding that deeply. I think I succeeded in other things with this film, and making a good film around other aspects. But fame is still to be more deeply explored there.
yeah, and also he's not just a child actor. He was like a teen idol.
Yes,
That's a
yes,
very
it's another issue
and
altogether.
that's a really precarious place to be, I think, because like if you look at like Sean Astin or Will Wheaton, people he worked with, his peers, they didn't have that like, call Sean Astin on the phone thing. That's a very weird place to be because it's like that seems to like that's like a troubling thing. I don't know if they tend to, well, they might, what's weird now is that there are kids who are famous right now, influencers,
Mm,
and they're not even in Hollywood. So it's even more of like
yes.
a Wild West kind of situation. Like you look at the Rizzler or something, or the Costco family, or I mean,
Mm,
there could be TikTokers we have no idea, or streamers we have never even heard of that every kid in America loves, and there are things like YouTube Con where kids go and meet YouTubers, and it's like pandemonium. We're talking
yep.
conventions with 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds running around
Yep.
adoring other teenagers. I mean, there's
Yeah.
even weirder things going on now than what Corey went through.
To say the least. I mean, the centralized model has long gone away. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the model that Corey grew up in has long gone away. And now I think, I mean, Wild West is certainly the case, but I think we're now going to be in, everybody always wants to predict, or some people at least, if they're in that world, want to predict kind of the next iteration of things. And I think it's impossible to do. I mean, I think we're somewhere past the 15 minutes of fame moment, or we're in it and about to crest into some other weird reality, but it is very unreal, I think, that moment that we're in. But you're exactly right. Like, back to the Hollywood thing, like you definitely don't need Hollywood to do anything at this point.
No,
And I think, mm,
they're chasing the social media people now. They want to put them
right.
in movies, like
Yeah.
they want to give them record contracts. Bad Barbie, right? Like
Yeah, that's why I'm always
that's a
surprised that
fascinating
social media
story.
people want to do things with television or streamers, which they do still. Some people do, and I think it's just still that leftover mystique of the idea of television, or now streamers, which we still hold on to culturally. But I guess it's only a certain amount of time before those things, you know, transmute into something else, or they another generation, from now, just doesn't even remember what those things are, or doesn't recognize what a television is. Like we have the progression with phones, we have with television, and it just becomes something else.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
fame becomes something else. I think that's what will happen. I mean, no one in a couple generations, the idea of a teen idol, no one will remember what we're talking about with Corey being a teen idol
Sure, but
in the
also
same way.
I think there's a like a primitive truth of just worshiping people that will never kind of go away. Or like I heard, I
Yes.
don't know if this is true. Gus Van Sant said this thing about like the silent era, like the
Mm.
early silent era. They would just find people they liked and be like, I want to see more of that guy or that woman
Mm.
doing things in this like little 10-minute reel or something. Like these short, like before they even had DW Griffith,
Mm.
they just wanted to see this person like, and that's kind of what it's turning into. Like, I just want to look at this person's Instagram feed. I just want to look at this person's TikTok feed or
Right.
whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, it's becoming everybody, everybody's in a bubble and everybody has their own feed. So who knows
Well, and the idea
what's
of
going in?
representing yourself, I mean, kind of going back to this idea, something that's I hadn't thought about a huge amount until Corey didn't support this movie. I had to think about quite a bit more the idea of telling our own stories, because I think, and now watching a lot of these celebrity docs that are either sanctioned by or created by the celebrity themselves, and then you
Charlie
really,
Sheen had one very
yeah, there's a Billy Joel one that the beginning starts out with him sort of the whole thing is sort of himself, um I think sort of narrating it. The Charlie Sheen one,
Mel
trying to,
Brooks, Albert
yeah,
Brooks. I mean, they
yeah,
just
yeah,
keep it's and they're interesting. They're not like
yes.
it's not that they aren't interesting. And I mean, Corey participated. He
Well,
did.
yeah, and so this is the thing, is that I see, I mean, obviously I'm the filmmaker of this movie, so I'm going to see it this way, but I see, I really, it's hard to see as much value to me in stories that we tell about ourselves than an outside observer. And look, would it be as easy for me to say if somebody were telling a story about me that was uncomfortable to watch? Of course, that would be much more difficult to look at and say that. But if I'm, trying to be as objective as possible about it and think about it, I think looking at ourselves and telling our own stories and crafting a brand around ourselves is not the ideal way of being in the world.
True.
If
True.
we're trying to make a Instagram channel around ourselves um and create something that is going to become viral or whatever that is, it's a
Well,
pretty disturbing way of living.
sure. And also it's like if I didn't watch any of those documentaries I just listed, right? I didn't watch the Charlie
Hmm.
Sheen Netflix
Oh, you
documentary.
didn't? Hmm.
No, like if you told me they were filming the entire time of his like meltdown during Two and a Half Men, I would have been like, well, that's an interesting movie. I want to see the footage, right? Like
Yeah.
Tiger King was this thing that was very big, but they had footage. They had footage the whole time. The guy who made, I forget his name,
Right.
he made that documentary TV Junkie. He's shooting the entire
Yep.
time. So footage is for me the thing that
Yes.
I need. And
Absolutely.
I need in a doc. I need the live footage. I don't want to watch.
There's one moment in the Charlie Sheen doc where somebody was filming when he was in a real state, and he's kind of he's calling, I can't remember, I don't want to misspeak, it's like maybe he's calling a manager or something, and he's in his winning phase, and he's saying winning, winning, and he's clearly in a some sort of phase. And it's extraordinary. It's an extraordinary piece of footage, but it is very short. And it, to me, I agree with you completely. I'm only interested in being there with people and being in the moment of something extraordinary going on. Otherwise, we are sitting and talking, and we can sit and talk amongst ourselves. We can sit and
Yeah.
talk all day long. We do not need film to show us what sitting and talking looks like. We just don't. We need film to get us into rooms that we can't be in otherwise. And show us
And
behavior, I think.
there was a guy who, when I tweeted about this movie, who was like, I guess some people who don't follow me were seeing it. Maybe that's how you saw it. Like people were seeing it, and this guy was like, I didn't like that movie. They didn't explain anything. It turned
Huh.
out he had a wife and a girlfriend. And I was like, what do you, you understood it, but he
That's
wanted like a
hilarious.
thing of this is how it worked. Or like, I don't know.
What did he
It's just, he just, he wanted the talking heads. He wanted the people to explain what was
incredible.
going on all the time. Whereas
Yep.
I like seeing the band play Man in the Mirror, and I like thinking about what those lyrics mean to Corey, and does he know what those lyrics mean? I mean, it's like the self-reflection of that song, and you think like, does Michael Jackson know what that means? And then you hear Corey talk about Michael Jackson, and I like just
Yeah.
observing.
Yeah, it's so interesting that that somebody would want. I mean, I it's hard for me to care if somebody wants to be told more so what like to that they want a film where somebody is like, this is what you need to think about this. Like that
Yeah,
is to me, I mean, I get it if that really is what somebody wants out of a film and they want like a very strong um opinion on something, but that is just not interesting to me. Like it's so much more interesting to me to have a complicated world that you have to devise your own opinion where, I mean, obviously well, not obviously, I don't know, one of the biggest questions that comes out of this world is, how can people deal, kind of rationalize the idea of, people who have been abused then treating other people in difficult ways. And that's sort of one of the top line things that people like to talk about. But I think it just gets more and more complicated and nuanced from there because there's so much, as you pointed out, behavioral complexity or contradictions that don't really have answers. I mean, I don't know if in human behavior, there often aren't clean answers. So I think if a film were to try and be didactic like that and tell you what to think about it, I just think that's so extraordinarily boring. I
yeah,
I can't stand it. But there are a lot of films like that, and there are, I also as I started to learn more about the world, which really was sort of after I finished filming, um, I could have tried to do some sort of straight up expose of some kind. And that also wasn't, I mean, I didn't feel like I really had the right or the material to do that. But I also didn't think that was nearly as interesting as trying to present the world that I saw and let people see that and figure out what was going on, the
I loved it.
complexity of it.
I loved it because there was always tension,
Mm,
and
yes.
tension is how things move, or like it makes time go by so much faster when you watch it. It's entertaining. I mean, it's just the tension of what is going on. Now they're talking to beautiful girls in the green room, and he wants a woman to come hang out with him for the weekend. And you're respectful. You turn the camera off when he says turn the camera off, but like, you know, you don't know. That becomes another thing of like, is this why he's on tour? Like, you wonder why he's on tour so often during the movie. And you'll see members of his band say, like, we should practice more. We should be really good. It's like, we're like, I want to be really good. Now people are criticizing us for not being able to play because we're not practicing. And
Hmm.
that's like very sympathetic towards them. And you have to think like Corey knows this.
Right.
He's been making music for a long time. He must know like, and and people are critical of him and make fun of him and say like they're not good live on today's show. Like, shouldn't he just like, let's kick ass tonight? Let's like show him like how good we are. But it's it's Corey's world. I mean, you say the movie's called Corey Feldman versus the World, but it's really Corey's world. You're seeing Corey run
Yes,
this
it starts out
this
that way. I mean,
environment.
it sort of deserves a part two, really, because you know, it the way Adam and I talked about it, as I mentioned, is like starting out in his view of the world, and then it starts to kind of open up, which again is kind of how it happened for me. You know, I started to realize, oh, there's a lot more going on here, or a lot of other perspectives that are much deeper than I realized. And you know, it was really tough because I think that the women, and I've talked to them about this recently, you know, more so than at the time, much more so than at the time. Um, you know, they were guarded because they were, you know, trying to be appropriate to the person that was their employer, basically, right?
Yeah.
They were trying to kind of play it cool. And, you know, and for me, I never want to push anybody to do more than what they are comfortable with, you know, like it's a
Mm-hmm.
really fine line. And it's
Do
always a subjective thing. It's like what you, and you know, I love people and talking with people and figuring out what's going on. That's obviously the kind of person that becomes a documentarian. So I determine my own threshold of what's appropriate. So and so that's what I did. And that's probably why, you know, to your point, I never got kicked off the tour in the middle of it and walked that line.
Plus,
So
also during the tour, the longer you're on tour, it seems like the more open people become and the more honest people become. They're
yeah, I
behaving
think that's
much.
right.
They're behaving much more openly, or they're saying much more openly how they feel. Like Margot
Hmm.
with her
Yes.
frustrations
Yes.
during the
Margot
tour.
definitely was. So, yeah. And I think they were getting more and more frustrated. And therefore, I think they sort of thought, you know, I mean, you obviously could ask them about it. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think from my conversations with them, I think they started to just feel like, well, this is going south and, you know, screw it. We might as well talk about it. But, you know, I've talked with Jackie about the fact that, you know, she was very guarded about talking about things, and I didn't push her super hard to talk. Um and you know, looking back now, I think we both regret that, but there, you know, there's only so much you can do at the time. You know, you do the best thing you can at the time to capture what you know, to capture what's going on. And yeah, I never wanted to make anybody feel like they were crossing their own lines, their own boundaries.
So it's the last thing you filmed with Corey, the stuff in New York.
That was the last thing I filmed with him, yes. And then Star Rosenkrantz, amazing name, I'll never get over it. Went my filmmaking, one of my filmmaking partners on this, went and filmed at the premiere of Corey's film, My
Yes.
Truth: The Rape of Two Coreys. And it was, he kind of, as Star described it, he kind of ran away from the camera. So that was sort of not ideal. But yes, I filmed with him in New York. Yes.
The scene with
And
him
yeah,
and Courtney in the hotel room is pretty amazing.
my friend, that is definitely my favorite scene in the movie. It is just extraordinary. I mean, the blender, I will never get over. It's exceptional. There is so much. We had such a, I think we had a 12-minute cut of that scene that was so great, and we just died that we had to cut it down because there was just no way we could have a 12-minute scene. But I hope one day there will be a home for that extended cut. But it's just extraordinary watching that process and watching the reaction. I mean, I can't believe I was there when that open letter from Mara Moon comes out, and watching their reaction to it. And again, the blender,
Yes, in the
I may.
but also like rewatching it, I wonder if Courtney is saying things she thinks Corey wants to hear.
Hmm.
I
Like what?
wonder. I don't know. There's something like she goes really hard and starts attacking.
Hmm. Well, I think that scene is so pivotal because you see Courtney feel like she can't get a word in, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's just very overt in that scene and painful to watch. And you see her be extremely hurt. And I mean, it's devastating to watch her be in that pain. And he's, I don't know how you would describe his, uh, comforting her in the way that he is. Um, and then you also see the machinations of, trying to handle that feedback from tour, right? It's sort of like the feeling of let's shut this down, let's get a cease and desist, which, was I mean,
Did he?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I
The
was.
only thing I wanted to say was that, on the night of our premiere, I wasn't going to even mention the cease and desist because I tend to just keep that stuff confidential. But, Jim was like, you should thank everyone for persisting, even with the C&D. And I was like, that's a good idea to just thank everyone for continuing onward in this valiant effort. And I mentioned it, but I also thought, well, it's a wonderful kind of meta experience to realize that we're sort of in that moment that we see on camera. Like you see that play out on the other side of him saying, we need a cease and desist sent immediately. And it's like, well, here we are on the other side of that.
Yeah. He's like, well, just spend the $5,000, whatever. Just do it.
Yeah. And
We'll
Phil's
just.
like, well, I'm currently negative right now. He's
And
like,
then you're
do it
like, what?
anyway.
And you're like, what does that mean? Like, you're always what
Yeah,
people
I
are always
know.
saying things where you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. What's happening? What are we doing?
It's
It's
too.
incredible, isn't it?
It's weird because you feel like if a screenplay felt kept alluding to things that were happening off that you'd never see in the movie, but they're people speaking, so they're not thinking like that. So they're just, yeah, we don't.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you understand he's net negative.
Absolutely.
They don't.
Oh, I mean, yeah, reality is so much better than what we can ever dream up. I mean, it's just so, I mean, and if you're in the right world and the right frenetic environment, it's like you could just never ever dream up.
Another
Go ahead,
other scene I
please.
really love is the scene on the bus where everything's breaking down and he's very frustrated and he's yelling to his phone. Is he yelling at his manager? And he keeps saying, and the
Yeah.
manager is like, if you keep yelling, I'm going to hang up.
Yes.
That's one where I, I mean, the behavior I couldn't believe because he's on camera and he knows he's on camera. But the other thing is,
So interesting to me.
I can see how frustrating it is rewatching it last night. I'm like, it's so hot. He's so tired.
Yeah,
He's
I
so
wonder if I'm a
mad.
little desensitized to this stuff because I don't, I think I might be a little off now in my experience of it because I don't even see it as that bad, which I think might be because I was on tour with them for a while, on and off for a while, and there was just a lot of, yelling. I mean, we ended up cutting a couple of scenes that were just kind of duplicates of that because it was like, you just don't want to duplicate beats in a film, and
Mhm.
we had so much, I mean, I think the first cut we had was like 2.5 hours, and we were just had to cut it down. And so I think I think that's one that makes me realize like, oh, you become accustomed to a world and an environment so quickly. And so watching people's reaction to that scene, sometimes I'm surprised, which is really telling, how quickly people can become accustomed to a world and an environment. But yeah, it was a very, very intense environment. But also you're right. I mean, it was very hot on that bus and the water would run out. And I don't know what was going on. The girls would love to. I mean, you should talk to the girls about it. Well, you should reach out to Corey, see if he'll talk about it.
I
Sure,
would love
he'll
to.
give it a try.
I,
And talk to some of the angels, ex angels, former angels. Sorry, sure they probably don't even like that moniker, but
I wish he would. I wish he would watch the movie and kind of embrace the movie.
of course.
But he wouldn't be Corey if he did.
Well, I know. Yeah, I just don't understand. You know, I'm really bad at this. I always want people to break their own behavioral patterns, but we're all remarkably bad at doing that. I mean, humans just don't really do that. I mean,
Yes, yes.
we work our whole lifetimes to break our patterns. It's like was sort of what we do. If we want to break a pattern, we have to work and work at it. So why I have these expectations of this person, I don't know, but I always think if he has feedback from people saying, this is something you could embrace and look at, and that somehow that could happen. But again, I think even hearing myself say that, I think,
I think it
Mars,
gets,
let's,
if it was just the tour,
yes.
I think maybe. But when it starts to, at the end, when it starts getting into the Me Too, the allegations,
Hmm.
the documentary, the funding of the documentary, the screening, I think that's when it kind of, where he kind of realizes like, whoa, like I don't think he wants to talk about what happened there. And he doesn't want to answer the questions. And it's kind of, it becomes a little less like, oh, what a crazy tour, so stressful. And
Hmm.
plus now he's divorced.
Hmm.
And it's like it's a whole documentary about him and his wife, that
Yes, that is tough.
relatively recent divorce.
Indeed.
It's just a, I mean,
No, it is. I
do
mean,
you want to watch a documentary about you and your ex,
believe
your
me. I mean, I will tell you that when I
and your other
showed it to him,
ex?
I was like, listen, this is going to be tough. This is a lot of
It might be
painful stuff.
it might be a while. It might be like 10,
Hmm.
20, 30 years. I mean, it might be a while.
Oh my God.
This is him with all these people
Yeah.
that were very close, and I don't know
And it
who
all fell apart.
I don't know who he talks to in this movie anymore. Maybe the brother, the manager. I don't know.
No, well, I don't. Yeah, I think, well, Brittany he was talking to, but I think I shouldn't speak to that. I don't know where that stands at the moment. I hope they maintain their friendship. Um, and I think I'm not sure what else will come through in terms of his relationships, but I hope some of them will. But I obviously the best thing he could do would be to embrace some aspect. I mean, even if it's not the movie, it would be to embrace some aspects of this and acknowledge what's going on. But
Or attack the movie. I don't
what's
know.
that?
Attack
Go.
the movie. If he wants to attack the movie, do it on a podcast. Like, give your side. Tell the world what it got wrong. I don't know, or give your
Yeah,
side,
certainly.
because we never really get a reflection on him. But
I know.
hey,
Isn't that interesting?
he. We know a lot. We know too much, but we don't know enough. And who are we to? Why do we don't need to know more about him? I mean, look, he's a private person. I mean, he's a public person, but he
Yeah.
can put out whatever he wants.
I think being a it's so when
He's
you
given
say
the world
that,
so much. I mean, he's really has.
I think being a public person is, I was thinking about that just the other day, that I was thinking about whether or not it's a choice of his to be a public person, because I think in talking with him I've talked with him on camera about this. I should try and find this. That I think it doesn't feel like a choice to him at a certain, I mean, this is the life that he kind of was given, to be a public figure to an extent. Although anyone, of course, can change their track in life. But I
He
think
doesn't have to. I mean, he's making music and going on tour. I mean,
yes, certainly
that's
that is a different pursuit. But I think, I don't know, it's so fascinating to imagine what I think he doesn't know another life than being and trying to continue to be a public figure. That's my interpretation of
That's
my
what I understand.
conversations
That's
with
what I
him.
felt at the end. There was
Yes.
no consideration of I'm going to just buy
Yeah.
a franchise restaurant in Utah or
Right.
whatever. Like there is
Yeah, I don't think
no
that's on the mental cards,
his thing is
which is
like
fine.
it was really interesting too with the Today Show at the end in New York, where I was thinking like, oh, he has to use show business as a way to get money, put himself out there to keep living this life. Like he has
Right.
to use show business. He like I
Right.
don't like we don't have that option to be like, I'm fuck it. I'm just gonna go on the Today Show and I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna let Matt Lauer grill me and
Yeah.
you
And
know,
blow
I'm
up a campaign. Yeah, I know. We don't have the same tools at our disposal. It
no,
is
we
it's a different existence for sure. There is that does provide evidence of a real Hollywood. That's for sure. Even if it's an older model.
because and you show it in the beginning. I mean, he's in Friday the 13th, Gremlins, Goonies, Stand By Me. I mean, everybody has seen those. Everybody has
Mm.
seen Stand By Me and Goonies, my age. So he'll always have guys in their 40s and 50s who grew up with the stuff, and maybe younger people watch them with their parents. I don't know. I don't know. Like I wonder if people like have you shown this to a younger person? Do they even know who he is?
They do not know who he is for the most part. I always hope they will, just because it would bolster my
Yeah.
joy of making this movie. But they tend to not know who he is, and that's fine. I always hope they will have seen Stand By Me or The Goonies, and I mention those movies. And I mean, every once in a while, somebody with a very, a cinephile parent will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I kind of, I went into it thinking, oh, most even kids now, their parents will have shown them these movies. I don't think that's quite the case at this point. I think we're getting out of that cycle. So,
It's like when I was young and there was the behind the music with Leif Garrett, and
mhm,
I didn't know who that was. I only know
right.
him because I watched behind the music.
And there's so many famous people now. There are just
Yes.
so many that I think it's hard to say, oh, this was someone who was famous, but is to an extent. I mean, but older people certainly do. And I think it's almost like to state what might be the obvious, the older someone is, or the more they're sort of in their 50s, 60s, the more so they feel like, oh yeah, he's an iconic, famous person. So I don't think that's a bad thing for him, though. It doesn't.
He has that. He has that base of support or like the base
Yeah,
of like that fame. It's like a base of fame. It's like a foundational
it is.
level of fame that he can build everything on top of.
Yes, I think that's right. So I think if his choice to stay, to stay using that public life and public persona isn't necessarily a bad idea. I think it's just, we I think we all have our opinions on what might work the best, as we all do. We all have opinions about other people's lives and how things could work better. That's just how it works. And yeah, I think he could embrace so many things, and people's enjoyment of his work, no matter what it is and
He
how
could
it
make his
turns out.
own videos on YouTube. I mean, he went on tour recently with Limp Bizkit. He could do a
Yes.
whole thing about that. Even
Yeah.
if it was sanctioned and even if he had final cut, I'm sure it would still be interesting
And that's the thing. When
to
I did
some in
the
some
sizzle
regard.
with him, I made a TV sizzle back to TV land when I first met him, and it was a TV sizzle. I mean, it was kind of a little bit sillier and whatever, more in TV style, and he loved it. He thought it was great, and I don't know if it's good or bad that I didn't sell it and didn't make it a TV show. But I mean, I would have much rather made this doc, as intense of an experience it has been to get it out. But I don't know. I mean, I think it is a world that keeps on giving. So, maybe the world is his oyster. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't know how to get. I appreciate your view on this film so much. Although hearing you say it is, I guess it just is built to be, or meant to be, the little film that could, which is, I don't know why that is. And I wonder if it's because people are just not used to seeing kind of true verite films anymore,
well,
or I don't know why
I
it
mean,
is.
there's a sad reality, and I'm sure you've got this question a million times. Is it on Netflix? That
Well,
must be
it's
the
so
first
funny.
that must be the first question 90% of the people ask you.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and uh I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I realized that the folks that I spoke with at let's say a couple of different outlets didn't even watch it because they just were like, "Oh, we don't want to do a Corey Feldman thing."
yeah.
Like they didn't even know, you know what I mean? They didn't want to see what it was, or see what, because I think, kind of maybe to your initial reaction, or everybody's, it's like, until you know what it is, or unless you know that specific kind of subgenre of doc, it's kind of
Honestly,
hard to get people excited. Yeah.
they have to know you. They have to know the director. They have to know a brand, a person made it.
I don't know if they have to know me. I think they
But
just
I'm
have
saying
to be
like that's
into,
I don't know. It's tricky. I
or
mean,
somebody has to tell them that it's worth watching. I mean, that's where it is. I hate to say this, that
the cool
the
people have to get it.
politics of, yeah,
First things
that's
first, we have to
where
get the
maybe
cool
Hollywood
people
is
watching. So if
real.
you listen to my podcast and
You are.
you're a movie maniac, you need to watch it. You need
Yeah,
to you,
that is true. If
and you
you're a
need to tell
movie
your
maniac.
friends. And if people word of mouth, like,
I think
if
it
you're
will live on word of mouth. I do think that's the case. I mean, well, there's no other option. I mean, we're just a handful of people. We're just a few people getting this movie out, and that's it. So it kind of has to live on word of mouth, and that's it. Unless or people just deciding to support it and put something out there. That's it.
until you get the Criterion release.
Whatever happens. I mean, I
But
still
that'll kick it up. We need the cinephiles. They need to understand.
I do think cinephiles are a great audience for this, for all the reasons that you have been pointing out, and all your amazing observations that are very astute. And I love them. And I love almost watching along with you through your lens. But I think, and we're still, even doing, I'm not a big social media person, but finding clips for Instagram and all that kind of stuff has been kind of a joy, just because I mean, we haven't even put that much up there, but they definitely find an audience, just because there's so much, from the very beginning with this footage. I would just tell people, like, you can open up a clip in this footage and you'll be
But
watching something amazing.
also with social media, this movie will play better because the less something looks directed, like the more real it feels, like
Mhm.
footage, like fly on the wall footage, the better it'll play online.
Yeah.
Because like there's a new thing with like advertising where they want like influencers to do ads or to sell things and to make it not seem like an ad.
Right. Oh my God. Help us.
So you could actually be on you're actually on like, this movie is like too ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
It's too real.
It's like, it's kind of like a callback, like I said, to the early 2000s.
Hmm.
Cause like, I can't remember the last time I watched a really good BBC documentary. And I feel like there was a time in 2004 or five where they just would show up all the time. Like I would just see these things, like weird. MTV True Life, it's gone. Like all those
Yes.
like things are just kind of going away. I was talking to a guy who does music documentaries about this, and so much of it is just kind of like um all these cable channels are going away, so this kind of thing
Mm.
normally would have played on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I
We're
don't
in a
know
whole new
where
world.
we are in a whole new world, and that's where I hope to. I mean, look, having to put this out in a totally not having to, but I guess, I do think ultimately the way this we put this out was the right choice. And um and I think this is the way I want to do everything now, because having complete control over it is
Way better.
just feels like the right thing to do. But I also think it's just where we're headed in general, like the model that we're headed toward. And look, there are obviously huge pros and cons, but I think that's the case with everything. And
Well, this
but
is
I see the future. And I see the bright parts of the future, at least now with this.
and people can get this movie on www.coreyfilm.com.
That's where everything lives for sure.
And
It's
I didn't
on.
realize this. This took
Yes,
me I had a hell of a time. On a Windows computer, you can't buy an Apple
that's hilarious.
rental. You
So you have
have
to
to be
put
on it.
on
You have to
Google
be on an
YouTube.
iPhone or an iPad or an actual like MacBook laptop or iMac.
Are
Like
you
they
a
will.
gamer? Is that why you have a PC?
Well, I do 3D animation,
Oh, of
and
course.
we've all moved away from Apple computers, and also
Yeah.
Final Cut changing that changed. People got Premiere. The whole
Boy.
business kind
Yep.
of changed.
Yep.
But now they have the Mac Studio. It's a whole new era for Apple. Everybody loves the Mac Studio. That's the new cool computer.
Well, we'll see what happens. At the moment, it's on Apple, YouTube, and Google
You're
to
going to New
rent or
York.
buy.
Didn't you
Yes.
say you're going to New York for something?
Yes. We don't have the dates for that yet, though. So we'll wait until we have the dates to really announce that. But we'll just tease
Don't
that
you have any
here on
famous
your.
friends? Can't you get someone like
I don't know if that goes very far. I mean, I think this is just building word of
Chelsea
mouth.
Clinton?
And
Can't we get her to someone big? Adam Friedland?
I don't know if any one thing does it. I think it's
No, it doesn't.
a network of people being aware and spreading the word, and it just kind of getting out there. I really think that's it. I really
Look,
think that's it.
here's what I'm telling
Okay.
the audience. I'm telling the audience right now, like, remember in the 90s when you liked watching movies and listening to music and playing video games? It's because you used to pay money to to enjoy this entertainment. You would go, I want to see this movie, and you would give them $15 at the movie theater and you get your ticket or whatever. You can do that with this movie. You can pay money and then the good thing will come to you. You're not you're not paying for a streaming service of just an endless library of slop that you're never even going to look at. This
True.
is not a two-screen movie. You can't be on your phone checking your Instagram while you watch this. You have to look and you have to have your eyes paying attention and listening at the same time. This is a real condensed movie. It's a full meal too. You won't be bored.
That is true. You better pay attention.
You're not going to want to go on your phone.
Yeah, you got to really screen it. That's for sure. There's no distractions can be involved. That is for sure. You got to be in this wild world and ride for sure. Gosh, you're right. It's not. It is very. It's a different model, I guess. I used to rent things or buy things on Apple. I have a few things on Apple that sit there, and I own them forever, but not a lot. So this is sort of, I don't know. We'll see where things go with this model, but I do like having the sense of agency over it. But having to really motivate people toward it is fascinating. But we may get out on some other platforms. I'll let you know, and we'll see.
Okay.
And I hope this will end up being a good case study in this model, which um, Jim Cummings, who swooped in and really got this film out. I mean, I always still can't believe that he's real because the way that he kind of saved the day with this movie was so extraordinary.
Who's Jim
Um,
Cummings?
Jim Cummings is a filmmaker who has built his whole life and career
Oh
around
yeah, yeah. I know who this guy is.
making his movies and putting them out. I still, I mean, I
The
surely
beta
don't care
test.
about, yeah, Beta Test is great. I surely don't care about short narratives, but Thunder Road, I mean, the feature is great, but the short of Thunder Road is one of the
Hmm.
greatest things I have ever seen in my life. And it is so funny and so moving and so sad and just, it's extraordinary. So he's just built his whole career in movies around this sort of model, and he just came in. I mean, the story is so insane that when I say it out loud it just doesn't seem real to me, but I literally wrote him on Facebook and was like, hey, I mean, I didn't know him, I just was like, hey, I have this movie that is really good, I can't figure out how to get it out in the world, can I talk to you about it? And he was like, hey, just send it to me and I'll watch it. And then he called me the next day
Yeah.
and was like, this movie is incredible.
Yes, yes. This movie
I
is that good.
will help you. Yeah. I mean, and he was like, yes, I will help you. And he has just been unstoppable in helping for
That's great.
no advantage to himself other than, I mean, we put him in the credits. Like he didn't even ask. We just were like, well, we'll obviously be putting you in the credits. And, you know, hope to, pay you back for your efforts. But like, I mean, it's just unbelievable that people will do those things.
Now, I joked about the Criterion collection, but like I could see
Oh,
this
that was a
getting
joke?
well, I mean, I I
How dare
I don't
you?
know if it fits in their library, but I could see a
Okay.
Vinegar Syndrome release or like something physical media. Like this movie is
Yeah, we're going to do a Blu-ray no matter what,
yeah,
because I mean, we just have to do I just, there's so much other content to share with it. I mean, that's the thing that
a commentary with you explaining what
yes,
the hell is
what's going on. Yeah, there just has to be more for, at least if nothing else, for the cinephiles that love and appreciate all the amazing cuts. And I want Adam to be able to jump on and talk about things too. And Star. I mean, Star has also just been on the daily, keeping things going. And I met Star at the Overlook Film Festival, and he was somebody who, I'd shot a ton of the footage, and he is someone who, I wasn't really telling people that much what I was doing. And I just said to him, I'm making this doc about Corey Feldman. And I remember his face just froze. And I was like, oh, great. That's the look that I am looking for. Like, that's exactly the reaction I want, because that's how I feel. Like, I feel like it's a life changing topic or person or whatever, a world that deserves that sort of reaction. Like, he just froze in midair. And from then on was just committed to doing whatever had to happen to get it finished, which is what is needed. I mean, that's just, you just are constantly up against a world that is indifferent to your own
plus
projects.
you're like Francis Ford Coppola in Apocalypse Now. You're in the jungle. You don't know what the hell. You keep looking at this footage. You don't
Yeah.
you're like, is it done? Is it not done? And people are like,
Yeah. And then just being like, there's also a scene that I think about all the time, which, have you seen Paul T. Goldman?
yes, yes. Yeah, I noticed
Oh
Jason
my God.
Molyneux was thanked, right?
Yes. Jason Woliner was thanked, and is one of my favorite people and directors. But Paul T. Goldman is also on my list of top five ever. And there's a scene in episode 5 where he's trying to sell it's kind of like a almost like a montage scene of him trying to sell the project, and he's talking to Paul T. Goldman about it, and he's like, there's this thing called Quibi and
Yeah.
they're interested, and then he's like, sorry, and it's like a laugh, for anybody that knows the industry at all, it's like a great laugh moment. And it's just incredible, like listening to the process. Like he did such an extraordinary job of documenting and recording everything. So you just hear his process of trying to sell this project, and it's so painful. It's so painful and so wonderful, just so I always think about that moment in
Paul
Paul T.
T.
Goldman.
Paul T. Goldman is the good version of the modern docuseries with the drone footage and the
Yeah,
text and the
it is
phone calls and the
incredible.
recreations and the whole thing.
It's
But
extraordinary. I will, yeah, I think about Paul T. Goldman all the time, and it's fascinating. That's another one that I'll say Paul T. Goldman to people, and it's almost never do people know what I'm talking about.
of course, but
So
if you know
yeah,
who Paul T. Goldman is, then you should watch it. If you know who Louis Theroux is, you
yes,
know um who else? What else is this genre? I mean,
comparable. Well, that's the thing. I feel like it's its
King of
own.
Kong. If you like King of Kong, you'll like this. I mean, there's
Mhm. King of Kong is extraordinary. That is also on my list of forever movies to watch over and over. Oh, oh my God.
Steve
That
Wiebe,
movie.
the
Steve Wiebe
the
and
dreamer, the boy who
Billy.
had his heart broken so many times.
It's such a good movie. I remember I had one meeting with one of the EPs on the movie whose name I can't even remember right now, but I remember him telling me, you remember that scene in King of Kong where Billy is sitting, like the bad guy, the villain Billy is sitting next to his friend, and the friend, they're sitting like in a cafe, whatever, they're just filming him in this like very basic two shot, and the friend basically like essentially turns on him in some way, and you just see Billy like turn and look at him. Do you remember what I'm talking about at all? It's fine.
I
Anyway,
know
for
the guy.
anybody
I know the
who's
friend.
listening,
I can't
anyway,
remember.
there's this
I
incredible
remember it.
moment.
I
There's
wish I
this
could remember.
incredible moment where the friend like basically finally like grows some balls and turns on this villain friend. And I talked with one of the filmmakers on it, and he was like, we went home and immediately looked at that footage to see, did that really happen? Like, did we
Brian
just.
Koo. I think it's a Brian Koo.
Yes,
Right?
I think no, it's not Brian Koo. No. That's the
Oh,
super nerdy guy. It's the blonde guy. Is it not
Mr.
Steve?
Awesome. It's not
No.
Mr.
Is there a Steve guy? No, that's Steve Wiebe. Sorry. It's the blonde guy. I'm so mad. Anyway, I'm so sorry I can't remember this guy's name. Should I look it up too while we're talking so that I don't screw
It's
this up?
fine. I can't.
All
I
right.
got to rewatch that movie. It's been a while. That was another great.
It is incredible. Hang on, I'll find it. But anyway, I just remember him saying they went home to look and see basically did that really happen, because it was just it was just so incredible, and like such a bizarre, like intense moment between these people that they just couldn't believe happened. And that's the kind of thing that I feel like you look for. It's the kind of, I mean, that happened obviously later in the film, but I feel like these moments you look through the lens, and when you see them, it just determines everything about the movie, like these core moments between people, or these kind of like absurd moments, and they just determine what's worth uh, putting in the movie. Is it Roy Schilt? No, it's not him. Oh, I remember that character. Oh my God, this movie is
They're all
so.
so much older now. They all look different.
Where
It's
is the
hard to.
character I'm talking about? I don't even see him here. All right, well,
I'm a Steve Koo guy, or a Brian Koo guy. That guy was
of
hilarious.
course, he was amazing. I mean, there's so many great people. I just don't understand why there always have to be such. I think it must have been Steve Sanders, but he looks so different. But it says film producer. Does that mean he became a film producer? All right. I just don't know. I don't know. I'll have to come back to you. We'll have to
For
put it
Luke.
as an addendum to this very important.
Oh yeah, Steve Sanders. I remember that guy. Yeah, he has the.
I think it must have been him.
Yes, I remember him. Yeah, and here's I think I think I found the screenshot.
Of them in the
They're in
cast.
like a booth together,
Yes. I'm so excited
like
if you found
this.
it. I'm ready. I see it says you're screen sharing. I'm ready.
Oh no,
Where? Which one? Yes, that's it. That's it.
these two
That's the
guys,
moment.
and you see
It's
Billy
so
Mitchell.
good.
It's
It's
like a
so good.
wooden
I see it.
bar.
I see it. Yes, that's it. I'm so excited.
Billy Mitchell apparently got caught cheating recently.
At what?
He was editing his high scores, like editing the videos to make it look like he got a
A-
higher.
Again?
I mean, this is like 10. I don't know. It could be 10 years ago. Recently, I don't know. He's
God,
pretty.
these I just don't understand why. I mean, I made this movie that I would love for you to watch called Magicians, which
Oh, I
it's
have
so.
it.
Oh, you do?
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've been watching it.
You haven't watched the whole thing. When did you
I'm
stop watching
I'm
and
sorry. I
why?
have
No, it's
work
okay.
and
I'm
a
just
million
heartbroken.
movies.
It's fine.
I want.
Well, I'll tell you something about
I didn't
it.
sit down
Besides
to
the
watch
fact
it.
that
I got it, and I was like,
you
"This is
tried to
amazing."
start watching, it's fine. So
No, I didn't. I didn't
let me
even.
tell you two things about it.
This is my
One,
sickness. I get a movie, I have to look through it
of
first, and
course. No, I'm
then
like
I
that with
watch.
books. I buy a book and I start reading it, and then I buy another book and I start reading it, and I'm standing in piles of books as we speak right now. It's pathological. Anyway, um, so I want to tell you that I started making that movie with an incredibly grandiose view of, which I still hold, of magic that I wanted to put forward into the world, and it ended up being very much a character film because for a lot of reasons, but one thing happened where I went to the house of this guy Brian Gillis who's in the movie, and I was like, I don't really want to put this sort of character across. Like, he lived in this castle with all these kind of gimmicks everywhere, and I was like, this is so rich and funny, but I was like, this is not really what I want to portray of this world, even though it is true and there's all kinds of characters in that world. But we were filming with him explaining his castle, and we were standing there, and he was saying, well, my ex-girlfriend lives in the other room, and these two little dogs jump up on the bed behind him and start like digging around on the bed, and he's like looking at them and talking about how his ex-girlfriend lives in the other room. And it was one of those moments where I was just like, is this happening right now? Like, it was to me, such a classic verite doc moment. Like, even though it's kind of like a interview moment. And I was like, oh crap, I have to put this person in the movie
The movie.
because of this moment. Like, it was so amazing to me. And sometimes those things just happen. Like, they
This hap-
just are too much.
this happens all the time with documentaries. They start making a documentary about one thing, and then something else happens.
Yes, all the time. And you kind of have to go with it. I mean, I don't know. I do love that movie in its own way, but it is so tremendously different than what I meant to do. It's fine. It's fine, William. We go where it takes us.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It's okay. I didn't mean to shame you. I'm
No,
more concerned that you
I
stopped watching it, but it's okay. I understand if you're
I
busy.
wanted to watch the whole thing, but then I was like, I have to really study the Corey
Yes.
movie.
Well, I'm glad that you watched that multiple times because I do think it deserves it because there's too much going on in that, almost too much going on in that movie. There's just so much, and every shot just has so much. I mean, oh God. I just,
Did you
and
pay at the wedding? Did you have to pay for your meal?
I did not. I don't know if I ate or not at the wedding. I don't remember. I'm sure I snacked on something, but I was trying to just film the whole time. I didn't really, I tend to just roll and roll when I'm filming. I mean, it blows my mind how much I filmed when I
Can you
was
go on the
there.
record? And are you working for Vice, dark media?
No.
Because Vice is back. Vice is back. I don't know if you
Oh
knew this.
boy. No, I have not kept good track of that. And I am not working for Vice, but that's good to know. Interesting to know.
Do you think it was a cult, or do you think it? I don't want to.
I I don't I don't know if it matters if I think it was a cult or not. I think there are a lot of behaviors
That are
that
similar.
are, yeah, that are worth interrogating for sure.
It's a good
And
label for what was going on. It's cultish. I mean, he's
yeah,
a leader. He's the leader, and there is a
yeah,
cultish
I understand.
devotion to
Yeah,
him. But
right. And I think it matters much more that people went from calling it not a cult to calling it a cult, like when people have a trajectory that changes significantly, I think that's what is more significant, is being able to be there during a time when people change their mind and you see somebody really try to make something work and kind of fit in with something, and then realize that they aren't in the scenario they thought they were in. I think that's important to be able to track in real time. They're hacking us in real time. uh
Who hacked him? That's one of your unanswered questions.
well, indeed, I think we could have kept going and going with that story. It never ends. It never ends. I think he thought at the time that it was the wolf pack, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
The Wolfpack, not the
Well, I don't know.
documentary,
No, I don't
not
think
the seven guys who lived in their parents' basement or whatever.
the old parents' basement routine. Yes, I think, yeah, he gave a lot of credence to the wolf pack, and
Who is the
which
Wolfpack?
I believe it was Bobby Wolf who just, yeah, did like a podcast. You better be careful, the old podcast mention. So yeah, I mean, it was the wolf pack was something he took really seriously.
What about Marilyn Manson?
What about Marilyn Manson?
Sabotaging him with the girls.
I know. What about it?
It's. Do we have any?
Hard evidence?
That's a. I mean, that's another one of
So
those
to
things where
speak.
it just ends the movie. It's like Corey
I
believes
know.
that
Well, we
the
had to
women
end it somewhere. I mean,
were
look,
sent by Marilyn Manson. You're just like, wait, what?
I understand. I mean, it could have kept going and going. We had to end it somewhere.
You know what?
Well,
Is an alternate edit of this movie where it's all told by like Chris Matthews' perspective of that
oh
grave.
my God, that shot too. That shot kills me. I think somebody at my job that watched it wrote and was like, I just only care about that Chris Matthews shot.
Like he's just sitting there with his hands over his chest, just like
Just being
watching.
like, what is this?
Get him,
What's
Matt
going on?
Lauer. Get him.
God.
I should be in
Uh,
there. I
uh
could tear this guy down.
yeah. What did you just ask before the Chris Matthews? You said something very
Marilyn
funny.
Manson,
No. Anyway, yeah, I all of that
an
is
alternate edit from his perspective.
oh, yes. Yeah, I think there are many alternate edits for sure. I mean, obviously we told the most robust, cohesive story that kind of tracks the core of my experience filming this thing, and opening up, starting with Corey's kind of POV, and then opening up to include all these voices. But God, there is so much more there. So I don't know. I think that's the other thing that I like about this movie, is that it just opens up other conversations and observations, and the more people pay attention.
Did you have to work with him to get the music rights or anything, or is that
No, there's a lot. I mean, he uh signed a pretty robust appearance release, and there's a lot under that, and then also just with fair use, and for a
Mhm.
public figure, that
Yeah,
is pretty straightforward. Um,
makes sense. Makes
yeah,
sense. All right.
yeah.
Well, I
And
mean,
also, releases these days too. Like if somebody is willingly, you can have an on-camera release, but you can also, if somebody's willingly talking to you on camera, that is also, part of consent. So, but we also have a written release, and um, all this other stuff. But I think music is, the only tricky thing was making sure we didn't have too much of. I think I'm remembering this right. Too much of one cover, like a Michael Jackson cover,
mhm.
things like that. That was actually, I think, the trickiest part. I actually don't fully remember, because now that was like a couple of years ago at this point. Um, Yeah, I don't know. There are so many details that, that took quite a while to go through the nuances of all that and get the archive and all that stuff sorted out. But it was, in the end, for a filmmaker, it is pretty much on this, on the side of the filmmaker if you're covering, for a doc filmmaker. Thankfully, fair use and covering a public figure is pretty generous. Thankfully.
So if people want to get updates about you and what you're doing, what's the best place to follow you?
That's a great
Instagram?
question. Well, the film's Instagram is a great fun place to be because we have lots of deleted scenes and deleted footage and extras and stuff like that. We're posting some articles that come out, things like that. So, and that one is just the initials of the film. So CFVSTW, Corey Feldman versus the World, initials.
I'm gonna follow
Uh,
this.
we tried to do Corey film, but I guess somebody else had made a Corey film. So, you know. Yeah, so CF versus TW. Or, you can go to my Instagram and find it from there if you want. Mine's just Marcie Hume, but I'm not a great social media person. It's not really, I find it not to be my greatest way of being in the world. What about you? I know that's not the
Well,
question here. I'm just curious.
I figured out a really good niche on X or Twitter, but like
Great.
just posting little movie clips of like that are like 10 seconds long.
Mm.
People seem to repost those. So it's like I don't have to do any work. I'm not like, I mean, I have to find the clips, but it's not anything I've made. But
But
they get
if they like it,
traction.
that's cool.
So that's what
That's
I
awesome.
found. Basically, it's like Instagram or anything else. The more people that watch it from beginning to end, the more they
Hmm.
boost it.
You want me to give you a little deleted clip for your
I,
ex?
I mean, I'm gonna tag you. I'm gonna put this out as soon as I can.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
We
I
gotta get the word
appreciate you
out.
supporting the movie. And yeah, I hope we can get it back up on Amazon soon. I didn't even realize that it was on Amazon. And we're hopefully going to get it back up on Amazon soon. And we'll see what happens there. And yeah, we just got to keep spreading the word. So we'll see what happens, my friend.
You just got to keep doing podcasts. Unfortunately, you just got to become.
Not unfortunate. I love talking about I am so proud of this movie. I think it's so great, not because of me, but just because the world is amazing. Everything surrounding it is fantastic. I love talking about it. So I certainly don't mind at all doing podcasts. I love talking to you about it and movie people, and
And
it's
you're
fantastic.
and Corey, if you listen to this, come on, be a pal. Embrace the movie. Marcy's being nice, just giving you space.
Yeah.
It's not you're not chasing him with a camera now, like trying to get. You're letting him have his do his thing. So hey, maybe this
Yeah.
is for the best. Like any movie, there's an intensity of a relationship, and then when it's over,
Yep.
it's not like Malcolm McDowell talked about this when he made Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
He's like Kubrick never called me or anything. Like it was over. It was done.
Yep. Well, I think it's definitely done, but I do think he should. I think it only benefits him to embrace the movie, and I have told him that. But I hope that he figures that out. But if not, then we'll just carry on. Either way, we
Right. Well,
carry on.
well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It's such a joy to
I'm
talk
so
to you.
happy you reached out to me because I was like, should I reach out to her? I don't know. Like, I'm so bad at reaching out. All the
We should reach
filmmakers,
out to people all the time.
all the
I
filmmakers
barely
they've
have a
had
Twitter
on,
account, so I'm so happy that yeah, I would just was so happy. I mean, we are honestly the little film team was so happy to see your tweet. I mean, it's just I don't know. I've said that now 3 times, but um you don't want to rely on outside influence to build your, foundation of self. But it was just really life affirming to see your tweet and just to know that there are people there watching your movie and loving it and thinking, and any mention of Crumb, as I said, was just,
Well, it's that
just had us
revealing.
floating.
It's that
Yeah.
reveal. That was the reason why I said that, because it's so
Yeah.
revealing. And that was like, Crumb is about a guy, like an artist with like an open marriage, and you see Corey just trying to get things going on the side with his wife and his girlfriend, and this whole
Mhm.
thing. And I'm like, no, like people don't normally let other people film them be this real. Like he really lets it be real. So if he feels maybe he was too real, then I get it. I couldn't be this revealing on camera.
He's always been open. I know we're wrapping up, but I'll just say this. He's always been open about his relationships. Like if you watch the wife swap, and, obviously with wife swap, they do the kind of more hilarious treatment of it. But even when I did my sizzle with him, we shot something with Courtney and then other women, kind of doing something a little bit more silly, I think, where, he had his arms around multiple women and all that kind of stuff. He's very open about that sort of dynamic. And I think very, yeah, I think builds that world and that kind of visual, as it were. And so I don't know. I don't think that's something that I think he's accustomed to being open about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because when I watch him on camera, I see him being guarded a lot.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
I see him being, like controlling how much I can see or how much I'm there for or what's
Mm,
behind closed doors. That's why I love the in that blender scene in the hotel room toward the end. And it was supposed to be subtitled, and I don't know what happened with our uh, the folks that did the technical output for the aggregators, but they didn't put subtitles on this for some reason. But they go inside the bathroom, and he says, "We know that there are dark forces against us, and this is where Michael went wrong. He wanted the power and the money too much." And you hear that he's like, for real, believes in all these things. Like it's no joke, like that moment to me is incredible because I'm sort of just like waiting outside the bathroom to not be intrusive, but you hear him sort of saying the same things that he would say if he were right in front of the camera. So I find that incredible. Because he really, to me, that means he really believes it all.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's and he's upset because a woman in his band broke an NDA and was saying like, don't fund his documentary.
Yeah, she's
Basically,
just exposing her view of things on a very small media outlet, which
yes,
didn't go anywhere,
it
like,
wasn't on the front page of the New York Times.
right.
It was a
Yeah,
small post, right?
yeah, it was. Um,
So
so
yeah.
yeah, it's an incredible scene for sure. Anyway,
Well, thank you very much.
thank you very much.
I'm going to watch The Magicians. How do
Thank
people
you.
watch your magician movie?
Think right now it's on Amazon and Tubi,
Oh, it's on
I think.
Tubi. Our audience loves Tubi.
Well,
They're big Tubi heads.
last time I checked, it was there. I think it's there. I should
Okay.
know. I got some DVDs in the garage and Blu-rays.
Oh
If
wow.
anybody wants one, I'll
Well,
send
you
it to
could
them.
always contest is always good online if you want to get
Oh, you're clever.
retweets.
Oh my goodness. That's so clever.
People will retweet the hell out of something for a DVD.
Huh. Boy, I'm so far away from being a Twitter person, but I gotta
It's
get
a
up in there.
it's a really bad place. The key with Twitter is to follow nobody except movie people.
I love that. I would
Never
happily
follow
do
the
that.
news. Never have anything else. Just the film Twitter feed can be fully self-contained. You don't have to if you stay in that algorithm, it'll just show you cool movie stuff, but or dumb movie stuff, but it's when you get out of that, it just becomes like much lamer. So,
Okay, I'm going to take that advice if I even go back on there, but we'll see.
yeah.
Thank
But
you
thank
for
you.
all this time. It's been awesome.
Everybody go to coreyfilm.com, buy the movie, own it on Apple, have it on your phone, play it on your headphones when you walk around, just listen to it. Get your friends
Inspiring.
to watch it.
Spread the word. This wild movie.
If you're
Thank you
an
very
editor,
much.
yeah, if you're an editor, you have to study this movie. This and One Battle After Another
Nice.
should be nominated for best editing.
Nice. Agreed.
This should be best picture.
Thanks, William. We'll see where we get to. See how far this gets out into the world.
We got to get the word out.
I appreciate you and I agree.
All right.
Slowly but surely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.